You know that person who's never on social media? The one you have to text directly because they won't see your story. The one who doesn't share their vacation, their thoughts, their face. The one who just isn't there. Most people think this means they're out of touch, disconnected, maybe even a little afraid. But it might actually mean the opposite. It might mean they've understood something the rest of us are still learning. Think about the last time you almost posted something. You took the photo, you wrote the caption, your thumb hovered over the button, and then you stopped. You deleted it, you put your phone down and went back to your real life. In that moment, something happened that most people never pause long enough to notice. You asked yourself a question, not will this get likes, but something deeper, something quieter. Do I actually want to do this? And the answer was no. That pause? That's not indecision. It's not fear of judgment or lack of confidence. It's your brain running a cost-benefit analysis that most people have stopped running altogether. It's asking, what am I giving? What am I getting? And is this trade worth it? People who don't use social media aren't avoiding connection. They're avoiding performance. There's a difference. Connection asks, how are you? Performance asks, how do I look, asking how you are? Connection is reciprocal. Performance is extractive. And somewhere along the way, we were told they were the same thing. Psychologists call this audience awareness, the ability to recognize when you're being watched and to evaluate whether you want to be. It sounds simple, but in a world designed to make you forget you're performing, it's actually a rare form of self-awareness. Dr. Sherry Turkle, who studies technology and human behavior, found that constant digital presence changes the way we think about ourselves. We stop asking, who am I, and start asking, who am I for them? People who step away from social media are asking the first question again, and that takes clarity most people don't have. It takes the ability to sit with yourself and decide that your internal experience matters more than your external image, that your thoughts don't need to be validated by strangers, that your life doesn't need to be visible to be valuable. This isn't a sign of disconnection. It's a sign of boundary intelligence. It means they know where they end and the platform begins. They know the difference between sharing their life and monetizing their identity. They know that not everything meaningful needs to be seen, and that's where the real difference shows up. While most people are asking, how will this make me look? These people are asking, how does this make me feel? One question builds a persona. The other protects a person. Here's what most people miss. Social media was never neutral. It was designed with a specific goal: keep you scrolling, keep you posting, keep you coming back. The architects of these platforms have admitted it. They've said on record that they built systems to exploit your need for approval, your fear of missing out, your desire to be seen. They didn't build connection tools. They built dopamine loops. And the people who don't use them? They're not technophobes. They're pattern recognizers. They saw the trade-off and said no. There's a paradox here that almost no one talks about. The very thing designed to give us connection is often taking away presence. The tool meant to help us stay close keeps us at a distance. You're in a room full of people, but you're not really there. You're thinking about the story you'll post later. You're on vacation, but you're not experiencing it. You're framing it. You're living in documentation mode, not experience mode. The people who've left social media, or never joined in the first place, have chosen experience. They've chosen to be where they are, fully, not because they're more enlightened, but because they've felt the cost. They've noticed that after an hour of scrolling, they don't feel more connected. They feel more alone, more anxious, more like they're falling behind in a race no one actually signed up for. There's research backing this up. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media use to 30 minutes a day led to significant reductions in loneliness and depression. Not elimination, reduction. Because the problem isn't connection, it's the kind of connection: passive consumption, performative interaction, comparing your interior life to everyone else's highlight reel. People who don't use social media have quietly opted out of that comparison game. They're not trying to win it or fix it, they're just not playing. And that refusal is often misread as judgment, as superiority, as coldness. But it's not. It's just protection. It's the same way you'd close a window if it was letting in too much noise. You're not anti-window. You just want to be able to think. Here's the deeper part. These people often have something the rest of us are searching for: a stable sense of self. Because when you're not constantly adjusting your image for an audience, you start to remember who you actually are. You stop performing your opinions and start having them. You stop curating your emotions and start feeling them. You stop asking, is this share-worthy, and start asking, is this true? That's not avoidance, that's clarity. And in a culture that celebrates visibility above almost everything else, clarity looks like rebellion. But it's not. It's just the quiet decision to live inward before you live outward. So what does this actually look like? It looks like someone who texts you back instead of reacting to your story. Someone who remembers what you told them last week because they were actually listening, not half present while scrolling. Someone who doesn't know what's trending but knows what they think. Someone who seems calm in a way that's hard to explain. It's not that they're happier, it's that they're less fragmented. They're not splitting their attention between their life and the performance of it. They're not managing a second identity, they're just here. Fully, in this moment, in this conversation, in this room. And that presence, it's magnetic. Because most people don't have it anymore. Most people are elsewhere, even when they're right in front of you. These people aren't. And you feel it. There's a quiet kind of power in that. Not loud, not flashy, but undeniable. It's the power of someone who doesn't need your validation to know they exist. Someone who doesn't need to be seen to feel real. Someone who has remembered that life happened before the internet, and it still happens now, in the spaces the algorithm can't reach. Maybe they're not missing out. Maybe they understood something first. That you don't have to broadcast your life to live it. That silence isn't emptiness. It's space. That being unknown to 1,000 strangers is not the same as being unseen by the people who matter. Maybe they've just figured out what the rest of us are starting to suspect, that the cost of constant connection is disconnection from yourself, and they've decided that trade isn't worth it. So if you're one of those people, the ones who don't post, don't scroll, don't perform, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're not missing anything, you're protecting something, and that something is you. If this made you think, consider subscribing. Not because you need to, but because sometimes it's nice to know you're not the only one asking these questions.